Assalamu alaikum, dear students. How are you all? Hope you will be fine. Okay, today we are having the second unit of the science book with the name Growth and Movement in Living Things. What will be the objective of this unit? To know about the living and non-living things and movement and growth in living things. In this chapter, we will discuss about the living things and the growth and movement in the living things. Okay, students, you know about the living things and non-living things. Okay, there are some characteristics of living things, and these living things are quite different from the non-living things. On the basis of these characteristics, you can easily identify that these are the living things and these are the non-living things. What are some of the characteristics? Number one, you can say living things are able to move. Living things are able to move. For example, we, the human beings, the animals, the birds, the plants, they all are living things. And they are able to move from one place to another, right? You can take any example. For example, a cow, it can move from one place to another with the help of their legs. Or the birds, they can move with the help of their wings, okay? Okay, but the non-living things, they cannot move on the other side. Okay, another characteristics is the living things can grow. You have observed that living things like the animals or the human beings or the plants, they can grow in size. In the beginning, their body size is small, or they are babies. After some time, they grow in size and they become grown up and they are as like their parents, right? Okay, then another characteristic is that living things can eat. Living things can eat different food. Like we are eating vegetables and fruits, animals are eating different things, plants can make their own food. Okay, living things can breathe. You know about the breathing? The taking in of oxygen and the taking out of the carbon dioxide gas with the help of lungs or different other organs or body parts like the gills, etc. So this is another characteristics of the living things, that they can breathe, while non-living things, they cannot breathe. Okay, they can feel the changes. Living things can easily feel the changes in their surroundings. They can feel the hot weather, they can feel the wind, they can feel the sounds, they can feel different types of things around in their surroundings, while non-living things, they cannot feel that. Okay, living things can get rid of the waste, as we have discussed in our unit number 1 about the digestive system. So as you know, the food which the living things they are taking, so they are digested in the body, and some of them, the digested nutrients, they are absorbed in the blood, while the waste products, some are the waste products, they are inside the body, and human beings or animals, they get rid of that waste with the help of excretory system. Okay, so these are some of the characteristics. Apart from them, there are some other characteristics as well, but these are some of that which we have discussed, so that you can understand easily that what are living things and what are non-living things. These all characteristics are you will not found in the non-living things. Okay, non-living things are these tables or chairs or the walls or a lot of other things, right? Okay, in this chapter, students, we will go in detail about the movement and growth, as its name indicates, the growth and movement in living things. So we will discuss in detail about the movement and growth in plants. Now come towards the movement in animals. You know, animals, they move from one place to another, or they move the parts of their bodies. They move the parts of their bodies. For example, how they move the parts of their bodies. You can take the example of a fish. How fish swim in the water. Fish swim in the water with its body parts, which we call it fins. What we call it? Fins. It is on the sides of their bodies, and with the help of that fins, the fish can easily swim in water, and it means they can move in water. Okay, another thing is the wings. The wings. It is found in which animals? It is found, you can say, in the birds and the insects. And the birds and the insects can fly in the air or can move in the air. How? With the help of this body part which we call as wings. Okay, another thing is the legs. You're familiar to it. Legs are found in our human beings as well, and it is found in a lot of animals like the rabbit, the monkey, the kangaroos. So the living things can move with its body part which we call as legs by walking, by jumping, by hopping, etc. Okay, there are some other animals which are having the special body part which we name is flippers. What we call it flippers, and it is found especially in the dolphin, whale and shark. And with the help of these flippers, these fish, they can easily swim in the water and move from one place to another. Okay, and in the human beings, these legs and these things, there are some special muscles attached to their bones. With the help of that muscles, they can easily move in they can do their movements. Okay, as you can observe your own hand or your own legs, the bones, they are attached with some muscles, right? And that muscles are everywhere in your body with different organs. Okay, these muscles, they are attached to the bones, and these bones, the two bones, the point where two bones are meet with one another, that we call as the joint. That's why our arm can move from this joint, like this is a joint, this is a joint. In our body, everywhere there are some joints. So where two bones meet with each other, that is called the joint. These bones and joints make up a whole skeleton in the human body, as we have discussed in unit number 1. You know about the skeleton. So the skeleton is made up of different kinds of bones in our whole body. Okay, now the skeleton is inside the body, and it is actually the framework of the bones. But there are some animals which are not having the skeleton. They are having the exoskeleton. Exoskeleton is actually a hard outer covering on the body. They are not having the bones inside it. You can take the example of some animals like the crab and the cockroaches. A crab and a cockroach, it has an exoskeleton. They are having a hard outer covering on their body. So these animals are the examples of the exoskeleton. Okay, now there are some animals which are not having the exoskeleton, not having the skeleton. Well, examples are different types of worms. Different types of worms. They are not having any bones in their bodies, and they can move with the help of their body muscles. Right? With the help of these body muscles, they can move from one place to another. Okay, so this was all about the movement in the animals. Now come towards the movement in the plants. You know, plants also can move, but it cannot move from one place to another like the animals. They can move with the tip of their stem, leaves, and the roots. Okay. You can take the examples of some unicellular plants as well. It is mentioned in your book, and here we are having the models of them as well. This is Euglena and Chlamydomonas. Euglena and Chlamydomonas are unicellular plants, and they can move in the water with the help of a hair-like outgrowth in their bodies, which we call as flagellum. What we call it? We call it as flagellum. This is Euglena and this is Chlamydomonas. The flagellum are here with their bodies. And these are found in the water. They are unicellular. Okay, and this Euglena, it has a special eye spot in their body, like this area. This is sensitive to the light. So wherever it feels that the plant, feel that there is some light. So with the help of this eye spot, it came to know that there is the light, and with the help of this flagellum, it can move towards that light, and then it can make its food with the help of that. You know, plants make their own food by the help of photosynthesis. What is photosynthesis? It is a process in which plants take carbon dioxide, oxygen from the air, water from the soil, air, and all these things, they combine together in the presence of sunlight. So it make a type of food which we call as the glucose. That is actually the food of the plant. So the plant's movement is especially found on the tip of the stem, on the tip of the leaves, and on the tip of the roots, right? Okay, now there are some other movements in the plants as well, which we call as like some of the plants, their leaf is actually the food factory of the plant, and leaves are always in the sunlight. It moves towards the sunlight. So there are some flowers as well which move towards the sunlight to make its food, or it is the movement actually in the plants. You can take the example of sunflower. Leaves of the touch-me-not, if when we touch it, what will be the movement? The movement that it closes the leaves of itself. That is actually the movement in the leaves of a plant. And the sunflower, as I told you, so the plant movement is different from that of animals, but it is that plants can move. And its movement is very slow, but it can move at the roots, leaves, and stem. Okay, students, now come to the next topic of this chapter, which is about the growth of the plants and animals, means the living things. Okay, what is growth means? Growth means increase in size. Simply, growth means increase in size. Okay, so growth in animals. As you know, animals, they are taking the food they are taking, they are digested in the body, they get the energy, and with the help of that energy and that thing, the animal size is increasing in size. It means they are growing. Animals are growing, and their young ones are as similar to their parents when they become grown up, right? Okay, and there are different stages in their life cycle or in their growth process as well. That stages we are calling as the life cycle of the animals. What we call it, the life cycles of the animals. And animal's body, it grows in all the way, in their arms, in their legs, in their eyes. Every organ is growing combinedly at the same time, right? Okay, so we are here having some life cycle of a butterfly as an example, and life cycle of a frog as an example. It is given in your books as well. Look at the life cycle of a butterfly. Means a butterfly, first it lays some eggs. An adult butterfly, it lays some eggs on the plant's leaves or somewhere else. So these eggs are then hatched, and a larva come out of it. That larva shape and size is not similar to that of the adult butterfly. It grows in size a little bit, its body shape change, and it is converted into another, or it enters into another stage of their life cycle, which we call as the pupa. And then pupa, after taking the food and with some time, it increases and its body shape is converted to an adult butterfly, and it is the last stage of their life cycle. And this cycle repeats again in the same way all the time. So this is the life cycle of a butterfly. And with the help of this, an animal or a butterfly can grow with different stages. Another example is that of the life cycle of a frog. You can see a frog, an adult frog is like this. You have seen it. It lays some eggs in the water. And that eggs, after some time and after taking the food and sunlight, it is converted into a type of shape which we call as the tadpole. What we call it? Tadpole. That tadpole taking the food and other requirements, so it converted into an small baby froglet and then the adult frog. So every animal has its different life cycles and different stages in their life cycles, and with the help of these stages or like this, animals can grow in size. Okay, there are another growth in animals as well. Like for example, there are some animals which is starfish and lizard. So some of their body parts as well grow if it is cut off. For example, if the tail of a lizard is cut off, so it can easily grow after some time, means their cells are actually increasing and dividing and increasing, and it is repaired itself. The same with the starfish. If any arm of the starfish is cut off by any accident, so it is again repaired after some time by the same process of dividing the cells and increasing in size. So this is another special characteristics of some animals as well, that their body organs itself increase or grow in size if it is cut off. The simple repairing is in a human body or other animals as well. If there is cut, any cut in the skin happens, so it is easily repaired by the division of that cells. Okay. Now comes to the growth in plants. Plants keep on growing all their lives. Plants keep on growing all their lives, but their growth is also very slow. And how a plant grow? You know, a plant first, it has some seeds which are developed in the fruits. That seeds are, if we sow it in the soil, so with the help of water and sunlight and soil nutrients, etc., it is converted into a stage of their life which we call as the seedlings. It is a small baby plant which has only leaves and a small stem. And the tips of the stem and the tips of the leaves and the tips of the root, it is increasing in size, and after some time it becomes a proper plant with the flowers, with the leaves, with the proper roots, everything. So the plants also increase in their size by the division of the cells and can grow, but their growth is limited to the tips of the roots, leaves and stems, etc. Okay. Now there are another characteristics of the growth as well in the plants, like we can say it is the bud. There, if you can take the example of a potato. Potato is a tuber. It stores some food inside it and it is in the soil. After some time there arise some buds on it. Those buds are actually the folded leaves. And with the help of that buds, the new plants can grow from the potato. There is the same like in the onions. Onion is a bulb. Onion we call as a bulb, and that onion, that bulb is also, it has some folded leaves if you observe it, and that folded leaves has some roots as well, and a new plant can arise from that bulb of the onion. The same growth is also a special type of growth in the plant. It is the cuttings. Simply if we cut the stem of a plant and if we sow it in the soil in some another place, it can easily grow in size and a new plant can easily grow from it. And another characteristic is that is the special thing is the runners. Some plants we call as the runners. It creep or run on the soil or on the wall or something like that. The roots arise from it. It is going towards the soil, or it takes the nutrients from the soil, and it grows in size in the form of that runners. Mean their stem is not that much strong, that's why it cannot stand erect, but it can run or creep on the soil or on the walls of, or it means on the support, on some other support, it can easily grow that. So these were all about the growth and movement in the plants. Now there are some uses of plants and animals. You know it very well about it. What are the uses of the animals? We can take a lot of food from it, like the cattle and sheep, they give us meat, milk, wool and leather, etc. Milk is very important for our growth or our body. It gives us calcium. Okay, and the butter and the yogurt and cheese we are making from it. The poultry means the chicken, for example, it gives us meat and eggs, etc. And the flowers, etc. The fruits and seeds, these all are very important for us. And then is the how plants are useful. So plants can provide us food grains. The most important thing is the food grains which we are taking. The cotton and jute it provide us, which are used for different types of cloth making, etc. The wood, it can easily provide. The stem of a plant we use as a wood for different types of building houses and furniture, etc. And the fruits different types of fruits which we are taking, which are very important for our growth and our body. So these are the different types of usefulness of plants and animals. You may know about it and you can observe different things, so you can easily understand that what usefulness of a plant and animal is. Unit number 2, growth and movement in living things. Living and non-living things. Living things are quite different from non-living things. They have characteristics which non-living things do not have. Plants and animals are living things, they are alive. Rocks, stones, pebbles and sand are non-living things. These are some stones and rocks. What living things can do? Living things eat. Plants can make their own food, animals eat plants and other animals. Plants can make their own food, but animals can eat these plants and some other animals. Living things breathe. They take in air to produce energy. The oxygen in the air changes the food inside their bodies to energy. Living things need energy for all their activities. Okay, the next thing is living things get rid of waste or unwanted things from the body. As we have discussed, it is with the help of excretory system. Living things are able to move, means plants can move some of their parts and animals can move from one place to another. Living things grow, they increase in size and they become heavier. Living things can feel the changes around them, they can react to that changes. Movement in animals. Animals can move parts of their bodies. They can also move from one place to another. Animals have special body parts that help them to move. Like fish have fins to swim in water, birds and insects have wings to fly. This is a fish. These are the fins of the fish. With the help of these fins, fish can easily swim in water. And these are the wings of the butterfly or an eagle or the birds. So with the help of these, it can easily fly in the air. Most animals like rabbits, monkeys and kangaroos have legs to walk, hop, jump or crawl on the land. A monkey and this is a kangaroo. Some large animals like the dolphins, whales, sharks and seals have flippers to swim in the water. Look at here, these are the flippers in the seal and whales or sharks. With the help of these flippers, it can swim in water. Muscles make your body move. It is actually the muscles which make your body move. Some of your muscles are joined to the bone. The point where two bones fit together is called a joint. The framework of the bone is called a skeleton. Bones move at the joints. Muscles help the bones to move by becoming short and fat. This is the picture of a bone and muscle. These are the muscles which are extended. It is the joint where two bones meet and this is a bone. This is the muscles become short and fat when it contracts and these are the bones and this is that joint. Some animals do not have bones inside their bodies. They have a hard outer covering. Muscles are attached to it. The hard outer covering is called an exoskeleton. Ants and cockroaches are the examples of creatures that have exoskeleton. Some animals like earthworms do not have any bones or exoskeleton. Their bodies are soft and they use their muscles to crawl. This is the example of an ant or a worm or caterpillar. These are not having any exoskeleton or bones. The body of a caterpillar is soft. It is filled with a watery substance and this water supports its body and help it to move. Now comes to movement in the plants. Plants are living things. They can move but their movements are very slow. They cannot move from one place to another on their own. Some tiny plants that live in water can move by themselves. They have an eye spot which helps them to know where the sunlight is. They swim towards the light using a hair-like structure called the flagellum. Examples of such plants are Euglena and Chlamydomonas. This is a Euglena and this is Chlamydomonas and these are the flagellum of it. Plants need light to make their food. The food of a plant is made in the leaves. The stem of a plant grows towards the light and the leaves turn to face the light. The roots of the plants move downwards to find soil and water. Some flowers open up in daylight and close at night. The leaves of the touch-me-not plant close when they are touched. The sunflower turns its face towards the sun. So these are the other different movements in the plants. Now growth in animals. Animals are living things. They eat food and grow big. Animals do not have special growing points. The whole body of an animal grows. It keeps on growing until it becomes as big as its parents. Then it stops growing. Some animals are quite different from their parents when they are born. As they feed and grow, they change shape until they look like their parents. For example, the frog and butterfly. This is the life cycle of a butterfly and this is the life cycle of a frog. This is an adult butterfly. An egg, it becomes converted into larva. This larva changes to pupa and pupa then changes to butterfly. This is an adult frog. It lays some eggs. It is changed into the tadpole into the froglets and then froglet become an adult frog. Some animals can grow back a certain body parts that has been damaged or cut off. The starfish can grow back an arm which has been cut off. If the body of an earthworm is cut in half, the head and can grow a tail end. If the tail of a lizard is cut off, another tail grows to replace it. This is a lizard. If its tail is cut, a new tail grows to replace the one cut off. And it is a starfish. If its arm is cut off, the starfish can grow back an arm. Now growth in plants. Plants keep on growing all their lives. If you cut off the tip of a stem, new branches will grow from the sides. The tips of the stem, roots, and leaves have special groups of cells which keep on dividing. A plant grows at the tips. Pull the leaves of a twig, you will see some tiny buds on it. Each bud has a number of tiny leaves folded up inside. Buds can grow into branches or flowers. There is a bud on the tip of the stem. It helps the stem to grow longer. A potato is a tuber, and this is the bud in the potato, and an onion is a bulb hole. Plants can also grow from other parts. A potato is a swollen part of the stem of a plant called a tuber. It grows in the soil. It contains a lot of stored plant food. A potato has many eyes on it. Each eye is a bud. The stored food in the potato helps the bud to grow onto new potato plant. An onion is a bulb. It is made up of thick leaves which contain a lot of stored plant food. There is a bud in the center of the bulb. The bud grows to make an onion plant. A gardener can grow new plants from the small pieces of stem. These pieces of stem are called cuttings. Long stems of plants which grow close to the grounds are called runners. New plants grow on the runners and their roots grow downwards onto the soil. In the picture, it is a money plant shown to you, and it is an example of a runner. Now, uses of plants and animals. Plants and animals are very useful to humans. How animals are useful? Cattle and sheep give us meat, milk, wool, and leather. Milk can be drunk or made into butter, yogurt, and cheese. Poultry give us meat and eggs. Fish give us food, good quality of meat. Honey bees give us honey. They also pollinate flowers. This helps to produce fruits and seeds. These are different types of animals, and the food which they are giving to us, it is shown in the pictures. How plants are useful. This is a plant. Crops provide us with food grains, right? Wood from the trees is useful for building houses and furniture. This is cotton. Cotton and jute plant give us fibers for making cloth. We get different kinds of fruits and seeds from the plants. Some plants, stem and roots store food which we eat, like the radish, ginger, and potato. Some important chemicals and medicines are also come from these plants. Population and food needs. As the population of the world is increasing, the need for the food is also increasing. Scientists have to find ways to improve the quality of plants and animals so that they can give more meat, grains, and fruits. Better ways of growing crops and better fertilizers will lead to an increase in the production of food and other useful things. It is also important to control how big the population of the world is growing. We can grow healthy crops if we use better fertilizers. Okay, students, now come towards the book exercise. The first question in your book exercise is the question answers. So, answer the given question. Number 1 is, name 5 things that living things can do that non-living things cannot do. You know our answer. It is very easy. Living things, first you have to draw a line. On one side you will write about the living things, on another side about the non-living things. So we have to write 5 things that living things can do and non-living things cannot. So number 1 is very easy. Living things can grow. Non-living things, it cannot grow. The second is living things can eat. Non-living things, they cannot eat. Number 3, the living things can breathe. Non-living things, they cannot breathe. Number 4 thing is living things can feel the changes. Non-living things, they cannot feel the changes. And number 5 thing is living things can get rid of unwanted things from the bodies. The non-living things, they do not get rid of the unwanted things from the bodies. Example of the living thing is butterfly, or you can write any other name. An example of a non-living thing is a pencil, or you can write any other name. Question number 2 is, name some of the ways in which animals move. So we have to write about the ways that how animals move. So animals move by the following ways. Number 1, fish have fins to swim in the water. Number 2, birds and insects have wings to fly in the air. Number 3, mammals have legs to walk or jump. Number 4, large sea animals have flippers to swim in the water, for example, a dolphin. Number 5, some small animals have muscles to crawl, for example, the earthworm. Okay, question number 3 is, which parts of your body help it to move? What will be the answer? Muscles help our body to move. Question number 4, what is the difference between a skeleton and an exoskeleton? So the answer is skeleton. The framework of the bones is called the skeleton. You will write the example, for example, a human body or a fish skeleton. The next is the exoskeleton. So what it is? The hard outer covering of an animal body is called as the exoskeleton. You can give the example of ants or cockroaches. The next question is, how do plants move and how are their movement different from those of animals? So the answer is, the stem of a plant grows or moves towards the light, and the roots of a plant move towards the soil to find water or other nutrients. So plants cannot move from one place to another like the animals. Okay, the next question is, how does the body of an animal grow? So the answer is, the whole body of an animal grow. It keeps growing until it becomes as big as their parents, and then they stop growing. Okay, the next question is, which part of a plant grows? The answer is, plants grow by the tips of the stem, roots and leaves. The next question is, what is a bud made up of? So a bud is made up of number of tiny folded leaves. The next question is, which parts of a plant can grow into the new plants? So a plant can grow into the new plants by tuber or by bulbs or by cutting and or by runners. So these were all about your question answers. What will be your homework? The homework is, do the rest of the questions of your book, page 20 and 21 in your neat notebooks. Thank you.